This week on the one and only recruiting show out there, covering a plethora of sports in the upper Midwest, good things come to those who wait as a player from De La Salle finds his new school. In Indiana, the state's top rushing phenom in the class of 22 has set up his first official visit. We'll tell you where. And lastly, an Ohio native who won the state football championship his junior year has received 19 scholarship offers and now looks to travel to view those schools, those stories, and many more on this installment of the State Champ Scout Show. Welcome inside the State Champs Sports Network studio for this week's action-packed episode of State Champs Scout Show, presented by Lawrence Technological University. You can recruit yourself at L2Athletics.com. My name is Dylan Morello, and we've got headlines this week from all around the Tri-State, and our resident pro, Ryan Van Dyke, joins us today to talk about something we all deal with, the next phase of life, in today's installment of Recruiting 101. Just a reminder, follow State Champs Network on your preferred social media platform. And for more weekly recruiting content, visit StateChampsNetwork.com to check out our latest blogs. So here we go. Let's rock and roll with this week's action.
This is Alan True taking a look at the latest recruiting happenings from around the state of Ohio. Olentangy Orange offensive tackle Connor Kemmerling was offered by both Notre Dame College and Grand Valley State University. At 6'7", 315 pounds, Kemmerling has a big frame and has been working this off-season to improve his game. He's been a top performer at several events, including the Best of the Midwest in Indianapolis. He has continued to hear from Big Ten and MAC schools in addition to these two offers that arrived. Cincinnati St. Xavier offensive lineman Brian Parker has a busy schedule in June that includes 3 official visits. Pittsburgh gets the first official for Parker, then Louisville, then Cincinnati. In between that, he will also be going to Duke, East Carolina, Coastal Carolina, Marshall, Northwestern, and Ohio State for camps and unofficial visits. Parker helped the Bombers win a state title as a junior and could play just about any position on the offensive line. That versatility has helped bring him 19 scholarship offers. Gahanna Lincoln guard Sean Jones was offered by Marquette. They now join Virginia Tech and others on his offer list. He has official visits with both schools coming in June. The 6', 165-pound Jones averaged 18.2 points per game as a sophomore and over 15 points a game as a junior. Centerville forward Rich Rolfe was offered by Radford. That is the first offer for Rolfe, a 6'7", 180-pound junior who is a sharpshooter, making 37% of his shots from behind the arc during the season. He averaged 14.1 points per game, 10.5 rebounds per game, and 3 assists per game. He's then impressed with Midwest Basketball Club at several tournaments this offseason, including the Rocky Top Invitational recently. That's it for recruiting news this week. I'm Alan True.
If you're a high school athlete with the dream of playing college sports, Lawrence Technological University wants you to recruit yourself. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports, including its newest additions, competitive cheer and dance, esports, women's hockey, and men's and women's track and field. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
This is Scott Bernstein from Indiana. The state's #1 football player in the class of 23, Andrean linebacker Drake Bowen, picked up a pair of SEC offers from Auburn and Kentucky last week and has set his visits for the month of June. Alabama and Notre Dame will be the first 2 visits he takes this summer. During his sophomore campaign, Bowen reported 80 tackles and 6 sacks for an 11-2 Andrean club. Indianapolis rebuffs Joe Strickland, the state's top pass-rushing prodigy in the class of 22, has set his first official visit for Stanford University out in Palo Alto for June 19th. Strickland is a 4-star prospect at the defensive end spot and a natural at stalking his way into the opposing backfield and being disruptive. He'll also visit IU, Purdue, and Penn State over the next several weeks. Last year, as a junior, Strickland charted 55 tackles and 5 sacks while attracting constant double teams. Lawrence North wide receiver Omar Cooper is finally healthy and has whittled his list of college choices down to a top 10 that includes IU, Purdue, Minnesota, Illinois, Missouri, Virginia Tech, and Cincinnati. The slick and sure-handed 6'2" split end is the number one wideout in Hoosierland's class of 22. He caught 40 passes for 1,100 yards and 13 touchdowns in 2020 from future IU field general Donovan McCulley, and will once again be one of the top deep threats in America this fall. Checking in from Indiana, this was Scott Bernstein.
Did you record an unbelievable touchdown, a game-winning goal, or just a proud parent moment? Then we want your clip. Upload your video to the brand new State Champs Network app so we can feature it on one of our shows and give your player, team, and school the recognition they deserve. All it takes is just a few easy clicks, and every clip that is submitted will automatically be eligible for prizes. Download the State Champs Network app today for iPhone and Android devices. I'm Lauren Plant with the latest recruiting news from Michigan. Good things come to those who wait, and the wait may have seemed never-ending for De La Salle floor general Lyndon Holden. 7 weeks after De La Salle fell to Ann Arbor Huron in the semifinals, with Holden dropping 19 points, the 6-foot senior guard announced he'd found a place to land in college, heading to Division II's Northwood University to play for second-year head coach Lonnie Griffin. Holder averaged nearly 18 points and over 3.5 assists for the Pilots as a senior, earning honorable mention All-State honors from the Associated Press, as well as BCAM's best honors from the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. Harper Woods' Breon Key feels like he might be the most underrated offensive lineman in the mitten. He might be right, simply because shortly before this time last year, he wasn't necessarily college lineman size. Listed at 6'1", 243 pounds as a sophomore, now checking in at 6'4", 290 pounds, headed toward his senior season. Colleges are taking notice too. Key picked up his first offer from Northwood at the end of April, then added a flurry of 3 from Grand Valley, Valparaiso, and Fairmount State at the end of May. What side of the ball he plays at the next level may be listed as to be determined, but the fact that Pontiac Notre Dame Prep's Alex Sherrill probably will play at the next level is becoming more of a sure thing. The rising senior recently received his first 2 offers in a 2-day span, getting bids from Valparaiso and Grand Valley State University. A two-way end, the 6'5", 220-pound Sherrill can either wreak havoc on an offensive blocking scheme with his speed off the edge, while on offense, soft hands can be a threat in the flats, over the middle, or down the seam from a tight end / slot receiver spot. Offers started early for Dexter's Cole Cabana and haven't slowed down. Much like the player himself, the speedy 5'11", 175-pound running back and slot receiver in the class of 2023 picked up Mid-American Conference offers from Akron and Central Michigan in February, then snagged his first Power 5 offer from Syracuse in April. Youngstown State and Cincinnati both offered in May. As a sophomore, Cabana racked up 1,160 all-purpose yards for the Dreads, rushing for a team-high 592 yards and 9 scores, catching 46 passes for 468 yards and 6 TDs, earning all region honors and all-state honorable mention. I'm Lauren Plant, checking in from Michigan.
I'm Ryan Van Dyke with another installment of Recruiting 101. Today I want to talk about the next phase of life, wisdom. Here's a quote: "Trust the wait, embrace the uncertainty, enjoy the beauty of becoming, because when nothing is certain, anything is possible." And that's a quote by Mandy Hale. All right, so the horn sounds, the final bell rings, the last whistle is blown, and just like that, unless you have further opportunities, those will eventually end too. This is how sports ends for all of us. It happened to me. I remember what it feels like, what it felt like. All the work you put forth and everything you sacrifice just kind of comes to an end. It's definitely a sobering feeling, because high school athletics is a blip on your 14 to 19-year-old radar. in this grand game we call life. In a lot of ways, it's like starting all over with a fresh set of dreams and goals. So how much time, effort, and thought did you put into your sports career? You know, just like sports, whatever you choose to pursue will provide its own sets of challenges, obstacles, and strategies. I think the lesson here is to really think about what you want your next 5 years to look like. Where do you want to be in 10 years? So don't be afraid of starting over. Be afraid of standing still, doing nothing, choosing not to think about it. Shoot, if you do anything, identify what you don't want to do. And take time to let things process for yourself. This stuff takes time. Talk to your friends, talk to your parents, talk to your friends' parents. There's much work and much conversation to put forth. You got to be sure your compass is set in the right direction first. I'm Ryan Van Dyke with State Champs.
That's all for this episode. A ton of young and perennial superstars who I'm sure we all will be watching with great interest as their careers take flight. Once again, I'm Dylan Morello. Make sure you plan on tuning in for the show premiere every Wednesday. For the latest news, head on over to statechampsnetwork.com for more recruiting stories and a ton of high school highlights from the tri-state area. Know this, we'll keep bringing you this program each and every Wednesday right through June because recruiting never stops. I'll see you next week.
State Champs Scout Show is proudly presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare.